And now we can go on to the Dark Urge. I'm going to go on the Dark Urge. Away we go. I'm going to throw up click damage and Jarlaxle in right off the bat. Then we need to build out a formation for the Dark Urge. We're going to want him on the edge of a formation. We're going to want him living on the edge. Unfortunately, this isn't great for buffage. Wait, this is the edge too. It's the bottom edge. That should be the bottom edge. That should be the top. So we could do this. Maybe. Oh, this is rough. Yeah, this should work. Yeah. That should count as an edge. We're going to lose his living on the edge stuff, or his other living on the edge stuff with, like, not surrounded by DPS stuff, but I guess I'm just giving up on that. I'm just going to ignore that. I'm going to go for his other stuff. Because I don't have the champions to swap for that anyway. Very new to D&D. Baldur's Gate 3 being first time playing anything D&D related. Oh, I mean, that's a fun way to start. Is Forgotten Realms just one of the planes worlds of D&D? It's like, it's kind of like, so most of like what we're doing here, this campaign map is the Sword Coast and the continent of Faerun on the world of Toril is my understanding. Faerun with like a tilde in there. And Toril is the world, and now we're in an ad break. But that's generally what is most of the Forgotten Realms, that's what you're talking about. But there's some planes to it. We'll come back when we come back from the break. Explain more of that. About 30 seconds left on the ad break. All right, I think we're back. So TLDR. The Sword Coast is on the continent of Faerun and the planet of Toril, and that is one planet in a universe. And other planets might be different, like campaign settings potentially. It depends on how the author and Wizards of the Coast wants that to be. But then there's also different planes of existence, like the fire plane and the ice plane and the air plane, but also like the Shadow Realm, and like these are different planes of existence, and sometimes and the Domains of Dread, and sometimes they link all these other places together, and it's like a big spider web. It's like a big spider web. But like you saw in Baldur's Gate 3, there's the Illithid ships that they're flying in, and they were like hopping through different places from like plane to plane to plane. Like they hopped into Avernus, which is hell, right? And that's part of Planescape, which is like flying in these ships through space and jumping through realms and stuff. Spelljammer, but also Planescape. Planescape is like Sigil, but it's all connected in this weird thing. So there's a place called Sigil that we now have in the game, Turn of Fortune's Wheel. And that's like all of the different places. There's doors on Sigil, and you can get to all of the things from Sigil, and it's like a hub. I don't know, there's a lot going on, basically. There's a lot going on. I stick to the Forgotten Realms most of the time. I stick to the Forgotten Realms. That's my favorite kind of place to explore. And again, like my homebrew campaign that I started creating is based off kind of this old cosmology of crystal spheres. Like each world is encased in a crystal sphere and thus somewhat separated from others, and all this, mumbo jumbo. And I basically, mine is like the one that rolled under the couch. My world is the one that rolled under the couch and everybody forgot about. If you want to think of it that way. Which lets me do stuff, which means as someone who hasn't spent their whole life involved in D&D and doesn't know all this stuff, I can make whatever I want happen in my world and have it be kind of based in D&D, but different because of divergent evolution, right? Like it rolled under the couch. It's in a different place and it's separate from everything else. So it looks similar, but everything behaves differently. And then I don't have to worry about people going, but that's not how the lore works. Like, cause it's a different place. Leave me alone. But it also keeps people on their toes, because you might be like, oh, I know how this kind of enemy works, and then it might not. Or I know what they're talking about, and then it's something else. Like, it's fun. I like it. Did I manage to get through the tier 4s on my main account? I haven't had time yet. I got through the first tier 4 variant one of Dark Urge. I went to do the second one, and I got to into the 1350s and stalled out because I hadn't geared up my Dark Urge yet. So I geared up my Dark Urge on stream this morning, and I'll now be able to dive back into pushing through, because I just decided to do Dark Urge first. I'll do that over the weekend. Yeah, and planes, when we're talking about planes of existence, it's PLANE. But yeah, the astral sea is like, that's space. That's like space and deep space and all that kind of stuff is going on in between the planets. And then Hell and Avernus are a different plane of existence. Like there's, the 9 layers of hell. Avernus is just the top layer, the most common one, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So there you go. Dragonlance is on the world of Krynn. So it can technically be part of the overall universe, but Forgotten Realms tends to be about stuff that happens on Toril. Yeah, prime material plane. Yeah. They're kind of moving, what I've heard is they're moving away from the crystal sphere cosmology. So yeah, so the solar system is wrapped in a crystal sphere. That's what it is. I haven't read it in a while. But I've heard they're kind of moving away from that, and because then you would be flying in a Spelljammer and then just bounce off a crystal sphere, right? Or you'd have to but then that would enable some fun Spaceballs things where it's like, well, I want in, let me in, we need the code. I'm not giving her the code. Torture. Fine, my code is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the same code I have on my luggage. You're welcome. Yeah, I mean, it would be funny, but they want people to just fly in and out of things now. Was Hell planes like separated to be like 9 different planes? Yes. Effectively. Well, as I feel like it's something like that, because you can go deeper and deeper So it's kind of like subplanes, maybe. Yeah. So there's levels, okay. But getting to the other levels, like, I don't even know how that works. Somehow you've got to find pathways to the other sub levels of hell. You don't want to, though, but you might have to. That's the combination an idiot would have on their luggage. Yeah, exactly. I love Spaceballs. But yeah, you could totally do with Crystal Sphere Cosmology, you can run a Spaceballs campaign. Yeah. Oh man, that's the only way I'd want to do Spelljammer. I said this before. There's the big way I would want to do Spelljammer is as Treasure Planet, because God, that was a good movie. I would want a Treasure Planet campaign, but also like a Spaceballs campaign would be so funny too. Oh, you'd have to have some custom. You'd have to build some custom races though, because you'd need a Mog, right? Half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend. You'd have to. You'd have to have a Mog. So there'd be some fiddling there. Mog be considered like it? No, they're not a shape changer. They're just half man, half dog. I mean, it's like Aarakocra. You don't call, Aarakocra lycanthropes, right? No, they're bird people. So this would be Mogs would be dog people. Mogs would be dog people. Oh, I should be trying to speed through this on Briv. What's my Briv at now? It's got to be the same, right? Yeah, 3841. But look, I've got like 27,000 stacks. See, Pizza the Hut would have to be Pizza the Hut would have to exist on a domain of dread, right? And the permanent hell that Pizza the Hut is being punished with is that, at some point or another they always eat themselves alive. But then they're reborn, and yeah. That was a stretch, Jam. Although it doesn't roll off the tongue quite that well. Yeah, and a whole planet just for druids. Funny. Well, I don't even think you'd need that. I think you'd just be like, oh, she's a druid, really? She didn't look druish. Yeah. You would just say that about druids in general. Now we're crossing the streams in Monto. that's now we're really crossing the stream. So I got to get to 75 for how many die today. We should just be able to click our way through this. Honestly, I have enough favor. We should just be able to click all the way there. And that means just leveling up my click damage over here. Taxes paid, Lavernicus. Yeah, I don't think I even need to level him up anymore, but I probably will. The only person I really need to level up here is Jarlaxle, and that's just to get more gold find. Big stretch. How are you guys? Which one are you the most proud of? I mean, the most useful is it would be probably be that if I were to think that way, the new player reference, right? Yeah, the guided tour, the greatest hits list. Yeah, I mean but that's it, right? It's taking all of the work that I put in over all of the years and then turning it into a functional path for a new player to basically start the game and understand bit by bit how everything works, right? So if you're new and you haven't yet, there's that should bot bot. I know it's Saturday, but you don't get the weekends off. What the hell? Is it just? Ah, there it is. I played myself. Played myself. There you go. There's a new player guide. It's the, yeah, underscore I forgot. Underscore is under the other one and not under this one. Yeah, that's the best one probably. After that, I mean, my guide to Bardic Inspiration, right? Which basically has links to all of the OG acoustic recordings for all the Bardic Inspiration songs. Yeah, that would probably be next. I've been thinking about updating that one to also include links to just the entire episode if they still exist. But you know, it's not a high priority. I mean, early on, my event planning guide was probably the one I would recommend the most. But now events have changed and it needs some love. The new player one is kind of taken over as the big dog on campus. Yeah. I mean, there's some good new ones out, right? Like there's the new Gem Farming 101. That's going to be super helpful for a lot of people. That one's linked to Blacksmithing Contracts 101, Speed Champions 1. Oh, no, it's linked to Speed Champions 101. But then there's also Blacksmithing Contracts 101 that's out there. That one's good too. Like there's some good new player stuff out there that we made this year. But ultimately, everything I need to just refine the new player reference so that it ticks out because I don't think I've added all of that new stuff in. It needs to be the link and the pointer to all the other things. So yeah, you get Dritz before pushing further in the Festival of Fools. You don't have to. But when you get a break, if you haven't got Dritz yet, then working towards Dritz is good. I was able. We did that before the event started, so I do have Dritz. But it's like you don't have to stop what you're doing in the event. But if you find yourself like, I know I'm not going to be able to do tier 2 of Briv stuff unless I somehow get stronger over the next 3 weeks and can get a lot more favor. That's what I'm going to need to get through this. Or just a lot better gear or a lot more favor, some combination of both. So at some point I'll go back to regular campaign stuff, maybe. And that's when you could then work on Dritz. Do I have anything in my inventory usable? No, I bought a bunch of support pigments, but yeah, I don't really want to use them anymore. I don't really want to use them anywhere. Oh, regular gold chest. I dropped off a boss. What do we get? Archon. Well, look, progress is progress, right? Some feels worse than others. Ooh, blacksmithing contracts. That's going to go on Briv. That's going to go on Briv. I'm going to pop a bounty contract. So this came out of these chests, right? It's going to give me more tokens for the event. That means more gear. I'll worry about exactly how many I'm opening later on, but for now I'm just going to open them all to get penance. Did I get any? Did I get a new? No. Yes. Oh, great. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about corrupted gem rewards. They're not a new. They're not a functional new player reward. Unfortunately, they should have just given. They should. These should all just be early on. It should be green gems. I'm not doing any of this stuff. Jeez, now they've got Icewind Dale here. Anything? Nope. Nope. Yeah, there's nothing I can work towards currently. Nothing meaningful. Feels weird. All I can really continue doing is trying to get to this next milestone of 1,000 total item levels. On my way to 2,000. I need 2,000 to unlock Mert. That's what we're trying to do. Oh no, we died. Imagine that. Imagine that. A frost giant came out and smacked us in the face. Okay. So we need to level up the tanks. Just so that they'll survive. We're going to wild shape Tyrell into barrel. Potpourri. We still can't level up the Dark Urge, so we just got to buff his damage by leveling up everyone else. That's all we can do. Life Domain here because she's 2 columns back. Choose right spec because it's just not worth it to do the left spec until you're later on. And he's a giant. None of these are giants, so we go for the best option for this specific event run, which is beasts. Alright. Away we go. And we'll use the same methods that we used last time to kind of rip through them, except I'm going to swap Ashara up here. Actually, I don't even know that I needed to do that. That's fine. She can be back here. This is how I should have done it. I should have been like, now knockback. And then lockdown. And then AoEs. Look at that. Look at that. And then Briv. And then Chomp. And we're done. And we're done. Alright. So we did have to, you know, level up the champions for this part, but I know it's, you hear penance and instead of penance. To me, it's the same word. To me, it's the same word. I mean, it pronounces the same. Penance, penance. Penance, maybe it should pronounce it differently. Penance or penance. I don't know. So look at the March 2024 DPS tier list in Reddit. I mean, you know me. I don't like tier lists in general. Did I glance at it? Yes. Did I agree? Did I agree with? Not really. I mean, the basic premise is not something I would rate on a tier, but that's fine. Again, I tell people you want to do it a different way, then do it. Then make your own post. They are good for them. I don't. I don't know. I think they have built a foundation for their tier list that is always going to have the same person at the top. And the fact that they even skip a tier and just leave it empty, just like, that's not how tier lists work. That's not how tier lists work. But whatever. I don't like tier lists. I don't like them. No, Zer didn't like it. And I really think it's just, yeah, it's tough. There's a reason I don't make them anymore. There's a reason I don't make them anymore. I'm only going to open a new time gate after I can get a new character full greens with Electrum chest. Oh, I mean, that's neat. Yeah. Yeah, then you're not like flooding yourself and ending up with, you know, a bunch of low geared champions, right? And again, right now, you know, so one of the most effective use of time gate pieces is opening a flex slot in the event. What? You're making time making tier lists? I can't even say it. My brain's like, no, you will not say that word. You're making tier lists again? No. Tier lists, yes. TEAR. I'm making lists where I cry about things that I'm sad over. But yeah, you know. The reality of it is, in this game, you know, who is the best DPS for you depends. It can change at any given time. It depends on your gear and your roster. A lot of other factors. So many other factors nowadays. A lot of people want there to be just, you know, we talked about the square hole yesterday. A lot of people want to just find the square hole in the game and use it over and over and over again. And that's boring to me. So, okay. We're up to 76 on click damage, so we should be able to just rip right through the rest of this without any issue. Hey, we gotta skip. The completionist games, I want to unlock and use everything. I mean, yeah, that's kind of me. I want to have everything. I want it to be functional, so I try to give everybody a decent amount of gear and item levels, because if I need to use them, I want to use them. And sometimes when I'm doing a variant with things are restricted, I'm like, oh well, let's just try this combination out and see what happens. And a lot of times it works. So I'm like, pfft. I mean, all that matters in the game is that you can complete the content. Like, you can get through an adventure to the goal that it has set. Anything beyond that is just your own personal choice. There's no reason, nothing in the game forces you to go to 2001 anymore. Nothing forces you to try to get E1000 Bud. Like, those are all personal choices. At the end of the day, what you really just need to do is be able to beat a given adventure or variant. And there are a lot of champions. There's so many champions that can do that for you. Yeah, Jamman J. And it's not even the shield that really helps. Is if you can get Antreus to spread, I mean, visibly you see the shield on everybody in the party. That means that he's also getting stacks. He mops. He's also getting stacks for his buff. So the more champions you can get that on, the bigger it gets. He's a big deal, yeah. Building a Strongheart DPS formation? Really? Okay. Or Strongheart based, yeah. No, Strongheart's strong. I mean, they're a mop champion. Like, they've got a mathematically OP ability. So... he's got that ramping attack speed and crits that just kind of can set himself into a situation where he's critting a lot and building up lots of stacks of his buff, and feeds into itself. It's a little wild, man. I like mixing it with Callie Bree and like sharing her crit chance, and that's just ridiculous. Then it's every hit of his. Like when she ults, every hit of his then should be critting. They still need to. Still haven't quite figured out if crits are supposed to set butt or not. It feels like they're not doing it, but I don't know if they're supposed to. I can't remember what they said. It's definitely not working like as it feels like it should. Feels like if I crit, that should set a super high bud for me. But I don't think that's working. And if it is, it's not doing it all the time. Because I'm watching things crit, and I'm like, I'm not seeing my bud go up with the crit values that are on the screen. So, it's weird. I think that's what he said too, but I don't think that's working. Or if it is, things are critting that shouldn't be. Things that don't set bud are critting, in which case maybe those things shouldn't crit? Because then it makes the game feel broken. If you follow my Tokyo drift. Hey, we did it. Hey, we did it.